All right, so we're back for another tutorial, and today we're learning all about chest hooping. So this is one of my favorite tricks. I love to do this one whenever I'm moving in an on-body flow because I really feel like I can get into the beat of the music, and I usually spin around in circles with this one, and it's just a lot of fun. So I'm gonna demo it first, and then we're gonna break it down. So chest hooping, you'll start at the waist, just like we always do with on body. And just like we learned in the last trick with lowering down to the knees and bringing it back up to the waist, you'll do the same type of motion, except you'll move from the waist up into the chest. So you'll press the belly forward, just like stagger the feet like we did in the first waist hooping tutorial. And then you stagger and press, pulse the hoops forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. And then you'll scoop the hoop up by pressing the diaphragm or the upper stomach into the hoop and then gently rocking and guiding the hoop up in a very fast movement. So as you can see here, you're just rocking, rocking, rocking until it's right at the bra line. Now for all my guys out there, it's right at the chest line, right where the pecs are. So I'm not discriminating. It's just I know that girls can relate to where that bra line is. So I gotcha. Okay, so once you have it up to the bra line, it's important to lift the arms up overhead and really allow yourself to bring the hoop higher up so that you can get that connection between the upper thoracic spine right across the shoulder blades. And this is a pulsing motion of the chest. So as you can see here, it's very similar to when your feet are staggered. You're pressing forward and back, forward and back. And it may be helpful to spin in circles like I just did, because you're gonna have a lot more momentum to keep the hoop up. So you just press the chest into the hoop, and it may come down to the waist, and that's fine. You'll start to notice that chest hooping takes your breath away, literally. It's a very invigorating movement, for sure, but it can require quite a bit of the energy from the core moving upward. So in order to feel like you can get the right rotation in the upper chest, I'm gonna recommend that you do some shoulder opening or heart opening poses before practicing shoulder hooping. So, or chest hooping, I should say. So you can do this with the hoop. I know of a lot of great and fun hoop stretches that you can do to open up across the heart. And one of them is just grabbing onto the hoop, pressing the hoop into the small of the back, walking the hands back, and remember to hug the low ribs in, squeeze the glutes, soften the knees, and just let the heart melt open. So use the hoop pressing into the low back or the mid back for resistance here. And press that back into the hoop so that you're not letting the hoop press you forward. You don't want to do that, but instead a nice straight spine. And we're just opening across the shoulders. Okay, and I would recommend staying in this shape for about a minute or so. Because, you know, something I've noticed a lot in our society is a lot of the actions that we do on a day-to-day basis involve rounding forward, hunching forward, whether that's driving, you know, typing at a desk, or even just like standing, like, you know, pivoting off into a hip. I see this kind of motion a lot when people are standing in line at the grocery store. So often I'll see, and this is a pattern amongst a lot of people, that our shoulders are rolling forward and we're so tight in the chest area. So in order to prevent that and really open up, you're gonna have to do some counter stretches. Okay, so like the one I just showed you, and then you can also have the hoop behind you, walk the hands a little bit down, and once again, we'll do a shoulder stretch here, and you'll place the hoop just right across the back of the shoulder blades, maybe right above the shoulders. Kind of depends on how big the hoop is. Okay, hug the low ribs in, soft bend at the knees, and then just gently press the upper back and the shoulders into the hoop to feel some resistance here. Remember to breathe in these stretches or else they're not really doing any good. For those of you that take my yoga classes, you know that I'm always talking about the breath. It's so important or else you're losing all the benefits of every stretch. So soft bend at the knees. If you notice you're hyperextending, correct that. Just give a little bend. Okay, and once again, I would do that one for about 1, maybe 2 minutes, if you can take it. Now, if you want to do something a little bit more to create openness, you can use yoga blocks. And I really recommend this for anyone that really wants to get into chest hooping, because this is really going to help progress the openness across the chest a lot faster. And you're going to want to dedicate about 2 to 3 minutes to this stretch. You can have the block in the back be about at its tallest setting to start. And then the block in the middle will be at the mid height. Okay, and my blocks are very thin. You may have thicker blocks. So just play around with the different sizes and see which one feels right for you. But this is a really good place to start. And you may have to readjust the blocks here, but you'll slowly guide yourself down. You want this first hoop resting right across the shoulder blades. Once again, my ladies, we're talking about right around the bra strap area. For guys, you're gonna wanna get it right at the bottom of the shoulder blades, so right where the wings start. And you can imagine the arms like wings and fold them open. So let them just splay out to the sides and feel the shoulders draping over the block. You can keep the knees bent here to protect the lower back, or perhaps you straighten the legs out. And it may feel nice to hug the low ribs in just to add a little bit more some support for the low spine for anyone that's dealing with some lower back pain or soreness, tightness. Also, if you notice that you're hypermobile, you'll always want to hug the low ribs in and squeeze the glutes just to keep this midsection your strength and your pillar for any outer movements in the arms and the legs. Because I learned the hard way that hyperextension in the arms and the legs can lead to a lot more pain in the back and the neck and other parts of the body. So always very good to find that core structure in the center of your body. So you can rest here in this shape, like I said, for about 2 to 3 minutes. To come out of this shape, you'll just remove the block underneath the head, use the forearms, and then lift yourself back up. It will be nice to just sit for about 10 to 15 seconds, let the spine reestablish itself, because that is what a heart opener is what we call it in yoga, and we never want to go from one extreme movement to like another. So don't like hunch forward right away, because that could lead to injury or overextension of the muscles. All right, so I really do invite you to try some different heart opening stretches. Another really good one that you can try is placing the fingers behind the spine, drawing the knuckles down and away, soft bend at the knees, let the hips thrust forward, and then lift the heart up. So imagine that someone has their finger and they're just pressing right in between the shoulder blades so that the heart can lift forward and up. You can also take this one into a fold by walking the feet about hip width distance apart, taking a deeper bend at the knees, hinging at the hips, folding forward, and letting the knuckles lift up overhead. So this feels very nice on the shoulders and even in the hamstrings. So you're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. Okay, to come out of this shape, you'll just release the hands down, bend at the knees, sweep the arms forward and up, feel tall in the spine, and then bring the hands back down to the heart. All right, so now that we've done some shoulder opening here, it'll be a lot easier to move into chest hooping. So I would recommend starting once again at the waist. Find your stance, either staggered feet or feet about hip width distance apart. Find your 2 hip points. And then work on drawing the hoop up. And you can bring your fingers up with you just to feel those hip points maybe on the ribs, maybe up to the bra strap line. And then what may be helpful, and this is different for everyone. I've had some students that don't think that this is easy. I have some students that are like, yeah, this is a lot easier. So it kind of just takes a little bit of experimentation. You can try lowering the arms in to the hoop and then letting the hoop come across the arms and the chest. Because now you have the arm as instead of the hip points, you have arm points, right? And then it just gives you a little bit more motion instead of having to transfer all that motion from just the chest, right? So you can kind of get your arms involved and wiggle them. And as you notice when I did that, I didn't let the arms come out and up. That's a very common mistake I see. When you do that, the hoop is going to stop rotating, so don't do that. But in the beginning, you'll just practice bringing the arms in and let the arms be close to the body, not glued to the body. You don't want them stiff. You can let them be loose. But just like you do in the knee hooping and the thigh hooping, you're using the arms and just shrugging the hoop up. So you're shrugging your shoulder and you're lifting the hoop up. And you can move in a circle just to add that momentum and help you get that practice, right? And you may just start with bringing the hands in and out like this. So this can be where you start today. Just get really comfortable with this motion. Find that opening in the hoop and then just lower the arms down. Okay, so we all have to start somewhere, and trust me, you will eventually get chest hooping. It's one of the harder variations of the tricks on body to learn. Because it does require a lot more motion and activation, and it's just not something that our bodies are used to doing, right? Like I said, we're used to rounding forward and typing and driving, so asking our bodies to open up in that way right away is oftentimes not going to work. So be patient, and I encourage you to try these different variations with the arms up and the arms inside. Just remember to find the opening of the hoop. Let the arms come in, let the arms come out. And when in doubt, just keep the hoop on the waist and keep playing, okay? And then after you master that chest hooping where you can have it up with the arms up and then with the arms, you can do something really fun where you pull one arm out and then bring it back in, and then one arm out, and then the other back in. And this is something that you're gonna wanna do in both directions too, okay? So if you haven't already switched sides, go ahead and switch sides. And experiment now that you've gotten real comfortable on the other side, experiment now on the other side, and you'll probably be humbled again, right? And then you can rotate the arms. And once again, you can stagger the feet, and it's a forward and back motion, forward and back motion. If the feet are about hip width distance, it's a side to side motion, side to side motion. Okay, so you can choose. All right, I hope this was helpful, and I can't wait to share the next trick in this hooping encyclopedia with you. So happy hooping, get to practicing. Remember, at least 10 minutes a day, and you'll eventually learn how to master all of these tricks. It'll happen faster than you think. All right, see you on the next lesson.